يتعلم الموسيقى، لأن الموسيقى هي الفن الرفيع جدا، وعندما يتعلم الإنسان الموسيقى يستطيع أن يطرد الخطية، لأن الموسيقى تجعل الإنسان مرهف الحس. الإنسان عندما يتعلم الموسيقى وعندما يعيش بفرح باستمرار بهذه الصورة يجد أن الحياة أمامه حياة جميلة ويمكن أن يتغلب على كل الصراعات.
Coptic hymns are theological, spiritual, linguistic, artistic, and musical treasure that the Coptic Church preserved in a form that may sound strange to others. Some of the Coptic melodies are nearly 2,000 years old, which is the same date as the introduction of Christianity to Egypt on the hands of Saint Mark. Coptic hymns are the spirit of worship and liturgical prayers in our Coptic Church. In the year 1918 AD, a group of papyri was found near the city of El-Bahnasa in Bani Suef Governorate, and among them was a papyrus dating back to between the 2nd and the 3rd centuries AD, which is a musical note of a Christian melody of the Holy Trinity. The hymn was written in Greek, and of course the tones was transcribed in a primitive musical notes compared to the modern notes used today. This hymn is considered the oldest Christian melody known today. As for the late attempt to codify Coptic melodies with musical notes, a scholar in the Coptic language named Athanasius Kircher in the 17th century transcribed part of a Coptic melody in his book called Restoration of the Coptic Language. But the writing of the word of the hymn was not accurate, and most of the melody have disappeared. When the French campaign came to Egypt in the late 18th century, led by Napoleon Bonaparte, he had with him a group of scholars who were interested in writing a book called Description of Egypt. And this book consisted of 20 volumes in which they described aspects of life in Egypt at the time, including the form and method of worship within the Coptic Church. One named Gulum Andre Viute transcribed part of a Coptic melody, and he spoke badly of the Coptic hymns. The other attempt was on the hands of two French Jesuit priests whose names were Jules Blaine and Louis Badet. They were teaching at the Holy Family College in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, a school established by the Catholic Church in Egypt. At the time, Pope Pius IX allowed those who joined the Catholic Church in Egypt to pray in the same Coptic rite. That is why these two fathers were interested in transcription the Coptic Church hymns with musical notes. In 1916 AD, Lieutenant Kamal Ibrahim Gabriel, an officer in the Egyptian army, tried to document a group of melodies in a book called Musical Notation of the Hymns of the Church of Saint Mark. But he changed the tones of many of the melodies to suit the way he wrote them down. We come after that to the largest effort that was made to preserve the Coptic hymns, which was conducted by Dr. Raghib Muftah, the pioneer of Coptic music in the modern era. In spite of the huge efforts of Dr. Raghib Muftah, the main problem that all of these attempts were based on a Western musical culture which lacks many characteristics and distinguish the nature of Coptic melodies, such as the microtones which characterize some of the tones found in the Coptic melodies, which some call quarter tones. These tones are difficult to be appreciated by non-Coptic musicians. Recent technological advances taking place in the field of audio engineering programs allowed us to compare the difficult recording of a single melody and measure the speed of the melody, its pitch, and the distances between its tones very accurately. Hence, we started music transcription of Coptic hymns after comparing the different ancient recording of each hymn. We also compared melodies that have similar musical phrases to each other. And using these programs, we not only can produce a music note for the melody, but we can also produce an audible musical note in video and audio format. We also started to do coding of the musical phrases what are repeated within the melodies, so that the musical phrase that is repeated among many hymns can be given a name. By the grace of our Lord, it will be very easy to perform scientific studies in the music of hymns. The musical notation of Coptic hymns not only helps in studying the music of the hymns, their nature and their characteristics, but also has a very important practical aspect in unifying the performance of the chorus members, if all of them recite the hymn using the same musical notes, while unifying the speed, pitch, and many other related aspects. Most of the Coptic hymns consists of the tetrachord, meaning 4 consecutive degrees, but there are some melodies such as Hos Ero from the third host melodies, or the melody from St. Gregory liturgy, where the vocal reach approximately 2 octaves. It means 15 or 16 consecutive notes. It is possible to attribute these melodies to the well-known Oriental or Arabic maqam, despite the different aspects between the tones and what is known in the maqam. The maqams of Oriental music have names. Some are Arabic, some are Persian, some are Turkish, and other languages. But since they are used in one way or another in Coptic hymns, this may lead us to the fact that the first to discover these maqams and determine their composition and the distance between their tones are our Coptic ancestors, and before them the ancient Egyptians. Even if the melody consists of only 4 notes, we can find that the preceding or subsequent melody form the degrees of a known perfect place, or that the melody is a part of another hymn whose its musical space is larger. Some Coptic hymns also have a time signature or meter signatures, meaning steady regular rhythm. Some of them are freely sung as ad libitum. However, both types can be transcribed in a musical notes. It is rare to find a liturgical prayer recited as reading only without melody. This points to how the Coptic Church, since its inception, knows how important music is in worship, and how the word, when it is sung, has a great spiritual and psychological impact on the worshipper.
الألحان ما هي إلا قطع صلاة بنصليها، بس لأن أنا بحب ربنا قوي مش بصليها بالكلام المجرد، بقول له يا رب أنا بحبك قوي، فعايز صلواتي أخليها عالية خالص، فبخلي صلواتي مصحوبة بالنغمات. دي قمة الصلاة المنغمة، الصلاة الموسيقية. أصل الصلاة الموسيقية أساساً أو النغمات دي قايمة على الحنجرة، والحنجرة دي الآلة الموسيقية الطبيعية اللي ربنا خلقها فينا. فنقول له يا رب بقدم لك أفضل ما عندي، أرقى ما عندي، ذبيحة تسبيح، لا أملك غير كده.